What is up, guys? Patrick here for the Muse Culture Podcast, and today I am with Con, Martyn, and myself. So, I don't know, what should we kick off with today? I was thinking maybe the PS4 virtual headsets and how PlayStation are trying to make really a copy of the Oculus Rift. I wonder how well that's going to go for them in the main market instead of just being specific PC gamers at the moment as it is with the Oculus Rift.
I just want to comment on it and say it's white. It's going to get dirty. It doesn't fit in with my black PlayStation.
Yeah, the only pictures we've seen so far show it to be a white with almost like a blue tint at the front where I guess the light's going to be. Yeah, that doesn't bode well with the black styling of the only PS4 we've seen so far, which is black.
And it just doesn't seem to make sense. Why would you make something white when it doesn't actually fit in with anything that the rest of the console looks like, unless they're going to release a black version or unless there's going to be a white PlayStation or something, I don't know, but it still just doesn't feel right. I'm going to buy it, regardless, but it's still white. It's still just going to get dirty real quick.
Yeah, it looks quite like a sort of poker visor rather than a VR headset, to be honest.
I want a VR headset that doesn't make me look like an idiot.
Yeah, that's the problem with this thing. It looks huge, and I mean, if it is actually a thing, and it's definitely going to be coming out, then I think they're going to be hard pushed to try and get it at a good enough price that people are going to want to buy it. Like normal consumers are going to want to get into this enough because they're going to need games optimized for it as well. And there's no way every single PS4 game is going to be optimized for this thing, and there's no way that they could just make specific games because nobody would buy it due to the what's it called? All of the main games that are coming, all of the third-party ones.
I suppose I'm just interested in at the minute is what games are actually going to be on it. I mean, when I found out about the news, I was trying to think what games would I want to play on virtual reality on the PlayStation. I mean, I'm going to assume that the biggest games being Call of Duty, Battlefield, that they're going to go on it. But what else are they going to put on that? What is going to entice you to want to buy it? Because at the minute, it seems like everybody is going down this VR route. It's just everywhere at the minute. I'm just waiting for Xbox to get on board with that. So.
Well, I mean, Eve have got their version coming out, haven't they? Eve VR.
Oh, you know what? I must be behind times because I've not seen that yet. I'm going to have to look at that while we're chatting.
No,
Eve Valkyrie, they've called it. And I mean, you think Dust 514 was on the PS3? So, I mean,
yeah.
Eve have already got a strong bond with the PS3 anyway, so that would certainly be a good flagship piece for it.
Yeah, I think this would pay towards some racing games as well, but all depends who actually uses it in that first-person mode. I know a lot of my friends that race, they don't actually play any racing games, they don't do that. They're always in that third person just behind the car. But
I like going in I don't go in the first person. I go in front of the car view.
yeah.
So you're right at the front bumper. I love going in that view.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Growing up with the PS2 and the Gran Turismo games, then yeah, I've always enjoyed playing that. But I don't know, I guess it could be very good for story-based games. Imagine Bioshock Infinite, but it looked like you were actually there, and it played like you were in the game, and you can move your head around and really see what's going on. Because I think Sony have made a virtual headset before, but it's not been like the Oculus Rift where it responds to motion. It's just been literally like a screen that's strapped to your eyes, and then you can use it to see the game.
Yeah, the one thing that really fascinates me is how it will actually work. Will you still have to use the, say, right analog stick to move where your actual gun would go, and you can use the headset just to look around if they incorporated that? Or obviously you don't want to be spinning around in the room if it makes the headset control which way you're looking. Everyone would be falling over themselves.
What, I hope it's there at Eurogamer because I think they're unveiling it at the Tokyo Game Show. You know what? I really can't remember exactly what date it is. I think it's the 20th or 22nd of this month, but that is a week before Eurogamer and Oculus Rift are going to be there. I think PlayStation are going to Eurogamer, so it'd be pretty cool if they're actually going to take something there, so you could see more about it and have a look at it and hear from PlayStation what they're actually intending to do with this and what games they're intending to be on it. That would be pretty cool. And I think Patrick, you and I go in there, so that would be pretty awesome to see that.
I'd love to see the PS4 is going to be playable there with most of their top titles. If they were to go head to head with Oculus Rift from Eurogamer and all announce it then it could be a big competitor. Because what you think? There's 2 months until the consoles get released. You got September. Well, basically you got October, then November. So you got 2 months from the end of this month where they've got like good game time to get in and try and get people to buy these things or pre-order them or be ready to buy them when they come out. And they haven't. If they don't show anybody anything about them, then it's unlikely anybody's ever going to buy one.
I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, let's not forget, of course, that Sony's had a history of releasing their own dubious proprietary versions of things, like the Pro Dual memory cards for the original PSP, or the memory expansion cards for the Vita, or every one of their consoles and phones having its own different charging port in it and things like that. So I mean, we'll just have to see how that plays out, whether it'll come out as a a true competitor to the Oculus Rift or something in classic Sony fashion.
I'm just going to be really stupid for a minute, but is it me, or do you look at it and just feel like you've got the Enterprise on your face?
Yeah, it pretty much does look like... It looks like a hovercraft. Like, you could sit in the top of it, and then the black thing at the top would be a windscreen.
Yeah, that's it. You don't know whether to drive it, wear it, whether
Yeah.
you're supposed to do the, live long and prosper. Are you Cyclops? Who are you in that?
Depending how big it is, as well, it could come out pretty far off your face.
It could be pretty heavy to
It
wear.
doesn't... I mean, the only picture I've seen is the one I've got here, and it doesn't show any cables or anything. I don't know how it would work. Would it be like a headset? Would you have to plug it into the controller, or would you plug it into, I don't know, the TV? Would your PS3 only be able to, or PS4, sorry, would only be able to come out of that, or could you have it on that and the TV so you could play with friends? I mean, there's a lot of things that have to iron out if they were to announce this and like set it up so people actually wanted to buy it.
FPS would be pretty cool if you were all wearing your own headsets, because obviously no screen looking or anything in the same room would be pretty fun.
Yeah, and that brings up the point of how much they're going to charge for it, because if you want your a whole room of friends to have it, they can't be $300 or £250 or £200 or even really £150, because that's a considerable amount into a console. You could buy a PS3 for that. Why would people spend money on what really is just a glorified accessory when they could save that money and buy, I don't know, 4 games or 3 games or a PS3 or put it towards an Xbox One or more controllers? Like, they're gonna have to make this really competitively priced, probably under £100 or maybe at £100. So it's obviously like a premium version maybe to a controller, but otherwise they're not going to get a big enough market share for this ever to be feasible for then game developers to then think about incorporating it into their game.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they're actually going to have something to show if they're actually going to bring this out, unveil it at any of the sort of conferences or anything that they're having. I feel like they need a game that's going to be just purpose built for that.
Yeah, there needs to be like Kinect Animals, which came with a Kinect, wasn't it, or Kinect Sport or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
They need games like that showcases the best they could possibly ever do with it.
Agreed.
And then other games to then want to incorporate it into that again. And make all games compatible with it, because I'm sure they won't like enforce it, but if they don't, then you might just be left with like the Kinect random Sony games that they've made that just shows off that, and it's not really actually a good game. It just shows off the concept.
I kind of mean, looking at it though, I'm not sure whether it's actually something you can use without the PlayStation, because the video that Sony have released, that 1 minute video on it, shows that it is compatible with any kind of headset or headphones. But looking at it, I mean, I could get my head in that, but I'm thinking like my 11-year-old, my 9-year-old, would they be able to wear this? It doesn't look child friendly at all.
Their main market must be probably early teens to early 20s, maybe.
Exactly, but looking at the plastic of it, it looks like it's one shape, one size fits all kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that my kids are not going to be able to
everyone.
wear that, but they do go on to mention like halfway through the video that you get a cinematic experience, and the guy that's watching whatever it is watching, I think it's Spider-Man, he hasn't got a controller with him, so is it going to be something that you can take out with you? Can you, I don't know, is there any memory to, can you take it with you or not? Does it have to be on your PlayStation? But again, the main thing is that is not going to fit everybody. So are they going to make a different strap for it, or different sizes, or what? And like you said, Patrick, it can't be that expensive, because if I'm going to pay £300 for it, and I've already got a PlayStation, then I may be tempted to go for another next-gen console rather than just paying for, a piece of equipment to go with it. Like, say, buy another console.
What, then just...
Yeah, you could buy. I mean, if they make it too expensive, you could end up you could afford to buy the Xbox One for the same price.
Exactly.
And at that point, I'm sure someone would choose a different console over an accessory.
Every guy that's wearing this all look like they're struggling to actually keep it from just falling off their head.
It's probably very
It
heavy.
looks so top heavy. Yeah, it does look heavy.
I mean, depending on what they've actually got inside there, is it going to be just like a big screen on your face, or is it going to be more like the Oculus Rift? I'd like to know that. Like, does it actually move with your head? I haven't seen this video, but does content move with your head, or is it more like a film experience where you just looks like you're in a cinema?
Well, from the video that Sony have brought out, I mean, they don't particularly move their heads a lot, just a little bit back and forth and that. And
Yeah.
the Oculus Rift, everybody's looking around and, really generally excited by it.
It's a really immersive experience with the Oculus Rift, whereas this could almost just be another one of the... I don't know if it was Sony, but someone has before made a virtual reality headset that really was just a screen instead of glasses that you could wear, and it would be like, I don't know, 100-inch, the equivalent to a 100-inch TV. But, not actually needing the big TV.
Really
What
want the
about
TV
you
on the
guys?
face.
When you watch this trailer, it doesn't do that much for me. It doesn't make me go, oh my god, I've got to pre-order that right now.
No, I
Whereas
agree.
the Oculus Rift, it's like, yes, I'm having one of those. But this, it's like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Show me something else.
They don't actually spend that much time with the person actually on their head. They sort of like look at it looks good, and then they start having sort of this guy getting splashed in the face by water, and then he's flying around the room because he's watching Superman with it on. Even the guy playing the PS3, it looks like it is at the time, he's sort of moving his hands and his body, but his head is staying completely still.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen. I mean, this really begs the question, is this the future of gaming? Like, a headset like this, is this really what everybody's going to be doing in 20 years or 10 years or even 5 years, playing, say, Call of Duty Online? Is everybody going to be wearing a headset instead of looking at a screen in front of them, and they're going to be fully immersed into the atmosphere and moving their head to look around? Or is it just going to be one of the, the 3D?
Yeah.
Seems to be one of them fads that goes in and out every 10 years and doesn't really actually gain any ground on being like a main consumer product.
I
And you've
think
been
it can
there
go
for-
either way, really, though, that can't it? But, I mean, at the end of the day, when I'm playing a game with friends in the same room as I'm playing, I want to be able to see them
Yeah.
and sharing the experience. But with this, if we're all sat in the same room playing this, I can't see you guys, and I've got to admit I'm absolutely rubbish. I need sometimes to look at the controller to see which buttons I'm pressing. But I think it's going to cut you off slightly from interacting with people. I'm not sure about that one. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that disagree with me there. But for me, I want to play. I want to be able to see you guys and interact with you. But this, I can't do that.
No, I completely agree with you, because you're going to be there playing, say, Skyrim for the best part of like 3.5 hours, and then take your headset and your earphones out and realise that someone's come in and stole all your stuff.
I mean, the Xbox haven't released anything like this, or even look like they're going to release anything like this. But it seems to be going the other way, because the Xbox One now has up to 8 controllers. You can use up to 8 controllers at once with the Xbox One, which I guess means that they're trying to win over the HDMI port 1, and they're trying to win over the their main device in someone's front room or living room, with all the PVR features and the ability to multitask and do really everything, which the PS4 I say hasn't really targeted that at all. It's more just a gaming console. But the Xbox One with their 8 controllers, I think I'd rather pick having 8 controllers, like the ability to do that, than a virtual headset just for myself. Because I'd love to have 8 friends over and be able to play, I don't know, FIFA is a really good example of being able to have more than 4 controllers for a game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It's one of those things that it just opens it up wider. It just gives that opportunity for more games to actually come to it.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily even having to use it every time. It's just the option,
Yeah.
and people like to have the ability to do what they like when they have something.
Agreed.
And if they never use it, then it doesn't matter. But when they want to use it, it's there and they can.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out and how people actually react to it and respond to the news. So, yeah, obviously, guys that listen to the podcast, let us know what you think. Tweet us at GMuseOfficial, or get on the Facebook at Muse Culture and let us know what you think.
Interesting news I've just found out, actually, reading a post about the fact that the PS4 will support... No, sorry, not the PS4. The Xbox One will support up to 8 controllers, and the PS4 will only support up to 4 at one time. The PS3 actually could handle up to 7 controllers at once.
odd number.
But hardly any games took advantage of it.
All right.
I never knew
I
that.
didn't know that either.
Like that was never even advertised or
Yeah.
like said at all.
What a rogue number.
But
It is a bit, isn't it? 7.
yeah, it's a bit weird. Why didn't they go for 8 or 5 or something? I don't know why 7 was.
I mean, 8 I could understand. But
You know,
If it was the Wii,
I've also always wanted the ability to have one PlayStation and then be able to do split screen on 2 different screens. That sounds like a clever idea.
Have you seen that TV that Sony made for the PlayStation? That if you sat at one angle and someone else sat at another, you could watch the same TV but see split screen as a
No.
whole.
I heard about
Yeah,
this.
we thought-
Yeah.
It looked like a massive PSP when they made it. What it looked like, but yeah, if you sat at different angles, because I really struggle. I love playing the Lego games with my son, but I got to admit, I really struggle with how far I can go. I know that they've made it more open world now, and I can do more roaming on it without having to stay in the same place as he is. But still, with how little screen you have, I find that my character disappears off the screen. I can't see what it is that I'm moving.
Yeah, and not many games really utilize the screen well enough. There's a few games now that, if like a platformer game I've seen before people playing on YouTube, if you stay at one edge of the screen and they like continue through the level just zooms itself out, so you can always see each player. And I feel like if they were to utilize better technology, like in that sense, so you could have, say if you were playing with 8 people on a platformer or any kind of game, if someone got further ahead in the game, then it would zoom out or do something that would allow everybody to play together and not lose that experience, which is what happens half the
I
time.
got the perfect solution for you. VR headsets made by Sony.
But you need 8 of them.
Yeah.
5 of
Which
them,
is
or
going to
however
cost you
many
probably around
people
2
you
grand.
wanna-
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, looking at that picture now, that does look like a big PSP or PS Vita. Or
That's,
It does, doesn't
that's
it?
probably why the case is so big, 'cause it's just a Vita in a gigantic case, so you can't tell the difference.
yeah, they just added a new screen.
I got to admit, that was the one thing that put me off, the way that it looked. I mean, I did see it. I think it was last year that I saw the news for this and thought, yeah, that looks really cool. The concept's brilliant, but I really don't like the rounded edges of it. I'm a bit
Sony
vague.
TV.
It was like, it's not going to fit in my living room. It's not going to look good. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, the problem is as well is that it's not mainstream technology, so it's not going to be bought by a lot of people, which means major game developers again aren't going to develop for it. So these kind of things are clever and they're good like gimmicks, but a company can't push such a big thing and expect people to take it unless like there is support for the games that people actually are going to play.
Well, interesting then. I'll see what Sony gets up to in the next couple of months, and it'd be great to talk about all this again on another podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, and what about Sony again? They've been in the news quite a lot recently. They have announced that they're making a few games into films. Like I think Gran Turismo was one of the ones.
See, I don't understand that. It's not exactly a game that's very full of story, is it? You get the car, you do your licenses,
No.
you do some races, you do some more races. I don't really.
I think it was it's being done around the they had a competition, was it last year, year before, where you could actually win a sort of race in an actual car, and I think it's based on the guy
I
that actually won that.
Played that on the PS3.
Yeah.
On the PS3, they have every time a Gran Turismo comes out, they bring out a demo, and what the demo is called Driving Academy, I think, GT Driving Academy, and you do all of these like licenses. I don't know if you play GTA, not GTA, but Gran Turismo. If you play that, they have licenses, and you go through the licenses, and you get grades and stuff like that. Well, they used that system to test you, and whoever got the fastest in the world for, I think it was the last one, which was a lap of Silverstone, they actually were sent out to America and taught how to drive in a real racing car and potential to become an actual racing driver.
Nice.
So it could theoretically be based around that.
See,
And also Watch Dogs has been announced as a film as well.
well,
Has it really?
Watch Dogs is a really interesting
Sony-
concept, so I can understand that.
Ubisoft announced that it will produce a big screen version of his upcoming video game Watch Dogs with Sony Entertainment and New Regency.
Oh wow.
Watch Dogs revolves around a brilliant hacker bent on revenge and inflicting on his own brand of justice after a violent family tragedy. In the game, he hacks into Chicago's central operating system, which controls the city's infrastructure, including security cameras, traffic lights, and transportation system, as well as the databases containing key information on the city's residents, and turns the city into his weapon. So that's the, I guess, the synopsis of the story.
There are loads of games though that you could turn into films, and I'm pretty sure they are doing.
Ghost
the
Recon's
Gears of
another one
War
that they're doing.
God of War. I know that
Michael
these are,
Bay.
the God of War is on the PlayStation. Gears of War isn't, but they're supposed to be turning those into films.
Assassin's Creed.
Michael
would be
Bay
a
is
fantastic
developing.
film.
Yeah, that would be good. Michael Bay is developing Ubisoft's Ghost Recon into a film with Warner Brothers. That's another one.
Explosion Heavy.
Oh, very much. Yeah, there's going to be an official Gran Turismo movie. Yeah, they announced at Gamescom that there is going to be a film in the works, but Sony hasn't said anything about the film so far. But they say it's a full-length feature film, so should be pretty interesting to see what they do.
I'd like to see what they do with the Halo film. I've heard rumours about that one.
Well, that's meant to be isn't that meant to be a TV
Yeah, it's a
series specifically
mini-series.
for Xbox?
Well, Unto Dawn
like,
was a TV series,
again,
wasn't it?
Directed
Yeah,
by
that
Michael
was,
Bay
yeah.
or someone.
Yeah, On to Dawn. They did make that a TV series, but I'm sure I've heard somewhere, whether that's current now or not, that there was talks about a Halo film, and yeah, I'd definitely go and see that.
Yeah, I know they
I'd be
I know
interested.
they announced about the miniseries with Spielberg, was it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was him who's directing it.
I think they're doing something like
Still
6
creating it.
episodes or something. But you've got to be
Exclusive content for the Xbox
yeah,
One.
you've got to be on the Xbox One to be able to watch it.
Oh dear.
Even though it'll leak, but still.
I mean,
I don't know, what would the Halo story be though? Would it be the Halo 3 story, or would it be an overall
it'll
story?
have to be
or-
something new. I mean, the games and the stories are so immersive that there's no need to rehash it in a film.
Yeah.
I mean, not that that stopped Hollywood before, of course. There's remakes, reimaginings, left, right, and
Well, no,
centre.
most films these days are actually remakes or renames and developed differently, or just, you know, slightly different storyline, but the same
It's a little
thing.
bit sad, really, isn't it? But I mean,
Yeah, there's not that many like brand new film ideas coming
No.
out that actually get to like blockbuster level.
I think for me, any film where it has an original concept now immediately just gets 5 out of 10 straight away without doing anything else.
Yeah, it's very hard. Even Avatar was meant to be a new film, but that's actually based on an old film.
Really?
Yep, it wasn't a new idea. It was I can't remember what it was called, but it was the same like storyline, except from it wasn't with like the Avatar people. It was with, I think, normal people. I can't remember. It was an old film.
You know, Patrick, you're like a fountain of knowledge, aren't you? What is it you don't know?
I'm telling you, it's Flipboard. Flipboard. Just every day go on Flipboard. I read technology news. They actually just Sony just announced the Galaxy Gear, which is a watch, smartphone, tablet thing, or not tablet, smartphone thing, and it's gonna have 70 apps when it when it comes out. Doesn't say how much it is yet, but it looks very clever.
Now you see,
I
if
don't
my
want-
mate was listening to this or here now, he'd be shouting that Motorola did that first.
Yeah, and then I'd say that Sony did it first with the Xperia ones. I think they had a watch about 4 years ago, but nobody bought it because all it was an extension of the actual phone.
Yeah.
wasn't very good. But it only pairs with Samsung products. That's the thing with this Galaxy Gear. So again, it's with most things they're gearing it. Good funny pun there. They're gearing it for themselves. And not for like the mass market, but a lot of people have Samsung phones, so I'm sure that won't be an issue of getting people to buy it.
See, that sounds a lot like Samsung sort of crashing to market pressure. There's all sorts of rumours and whatnot of accompanying watches and phones and things. I think that Samsung's been the first person to actually step up and say, right, that's what people are asking for, let's have a go at it.
Yeah, I mean, so they're saying here that the Sony's device, which cost £120, was one of the first to use the technology of like a phone and a watch, basically. And the Galaxy one is going to cost £192 or $300. That's a lot of money for a watch that has like a phone built in, not a phone built into it, but it's a smartwatch, so it can show alerts, be used for voice calls and run apps.
But is it a lot of money for a watch? I mean, I know people spend thousands on watches.
But it's not a nice watch though. It's a phone. It's features of a phone smashed into a small small area into a watch shape.
I get-
Like one of those
I don't
ones
know
that
if
I
it
get
will-
out a little kiddie ball when I put a pound in the machine.
I guess it depends on how you perceive it. I mean, some people will spend a lot of money for that, but I don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Galaxy Note 3's been announced as well. So they're going to be a massive phone as usual. But I was interesting that I don't know if you would. Does anybody here count tablets or phones as gaming systems?
Yes.
Do you think the technology is advanced enough that we can now like say that Real Racing 3 on a phone or a tablet is a good enough game that would be classed as like a gaming system? Or is it just an add-on?
No, I mean, I'm playing Knights of the Old Republic on my iPads at the moment, and it's an absolute joy to play on the iPad Mini.
You play Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah, on the iPad
Oh,
Mini.
I am
It's
downloading
amazing.
that right now.
How do you? Is it just an app you download?
Yeah,
it
yeah,
on?
it's $6.99.
I might have to get
They've smoothed up all textures, so it looks really nice. The control system's really easy to use, and it doesn't look like they've cut anything out of it. In fact, the only thing I found that I can't do yet that I could do in the old game was press the X key to make my guy spin his swords around. That's the only thing I can't do in this new version of it. So like, it's
brilliant.
well worth having.
Right, okay, I've got a bit quiet now because I'm trying to find it to download it.
That's the thing. I think I know more people that own games on phones and that actually own even a Nintendo Wii, or well, not so much Wii. Sorry, a Wii U.
No, I mean, the Wii U, it's not. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not doing well, is it?
No, they've cut the price again. I think it's
Yeah.
like £200 now for the base model.
It's kind of shifted for love nor money.
Kind of a. I think they. What was the statistic? I think it was something like they sold 170,000 in Europe since they've come out, or something, or the last month. Maybe the last month. That sounds a bit more realistic. Like 170,000 of them were sold in the whole of Europe in the last month, which is terrible. Like that's nothing. The Wii outsells the Wii U.
Wow.
The only thing really making Nintendo any kind of money at the moment has got to be the DS, the 3DS.
Like the 2DS, allegedly, hopefully.
Well, the 2DS is a clever idea, even though people they put it down because it's a terrible design, or it's it's the 3DS without the 3D, but it can play the 3D games. But it's quite clever because it comes out the same day as the new Pokemon game. It's built for kids. And it can play all of your old DS library, which the 3DS can't. It can't necessarily play all of your old DS games. So you think about these kids who've got the first generation DS, like I used to do, or something like that, or have their parents had a DS when they first came out, because they were a pretty big hit with what was the brain training game called?
Brain Academy,
I can't remember.
was it?
That's the one, yeah. I mean, parents bought that, stuff like that.
You can
so
tell how
think
fast
about
that
if
I
they-
said that I've got that, can't you?
if they have like this wealth of games already, then having something that can play all of them games is going to be so much more appealing to a parent than this 3D games console that's more expensive, doesn't play as many games, and just isn't really built for a child.
I think we did this actually on the last podcast. I'm pretty sure we were talking about the 2DS.
Did we talk about the Wii? Yeah, we talked about 2DS, but not the Wii U.
No, not the Wii U. Just the 2DS. I'm sorry.
Do
I'm
people
still there
think-
with that. It's just horrible.
I think your kids would like it, and I think my brother would like it.
Well, I actually showed my son a picture of this, and he was like, "What's that?" And I think this is probably Terry that mentioned this. It's like, dude, it's the 2DS. He was like, well, hey, I can just turn 3DS off on my 3DS, and it's 2DS. So,
But
why are
I'm
we gonna
sure
buy a
you'd
new one?
like it when
What?
your son or someone would to drop it down the stairs, and the 2DS bounces all the way down and is perfectly fine, and the 3DS screen snaps, and then you have a broken 3DS. Like, that's what it's built for, the under 7-year-olds, is what Nintendo was saying. It's built for the children that would normally get maybe a DS, but can easily break it.
I
If
think it's just with where my kids are. My kids, well, one of them is 11. If I gave him this, he would look at me horrified. He wouldn't want that. I get what you're saying, and I think that's a great idea. To be fair, for younger kids, if I had a younger child, there is no way in hell I'm giving them a Vita or a PS3, PSP. You want them to have something, like you say, that does bounce. I think this is a great idea. When it first came out, whatever, I didn't realise that was what it was for, and just looked at it and went, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure younger kids would be very much into the whole idea of it just being there. But the other thing as well is I didn't know until a few days ago is that the screen on the 2DS is just one screen with a piece of plastic covering the middle, so it looks like two screens.
Clever.
Is it?
I still, if if they had changed the name and not actually put 2DS.
Yeah, if they change it to like DS for children or anything,
Yeah.
anything that's not 2DS,
It just makes it sound like you're going backwards. It really
yeah,
does.
it does. It sounds like you're buying a downgrade,
Yeah.
which is totally not what they're aiming for.
I found some rough figures. Apparently, the Wii to date have sold 100, or units shipped. Sorry, there's been 100 million shipped on Wii, and the Wii U is 3.61 million. That is a big difference.
Yeah, there's nowhere near the
That's a
numbers, even
massive
though the
difference.
Wii has been out for ages.
Yeah. An extra
It's
6
nowhere
years.
near on the right trajectory. Well, do you know what the most sold game is ever?
What, the
Most
Wii
sold
U or
game?
just ever?
Ever?
Pokemon.
No, it's Wii Sports.
What?
Wait,
Because it came with every single Wii console.
that's the thing. Can you count that as a sell?
Yep.
They count that as a
It's a
sell.
game. It's not built into the console. It's extra.
Well, FIFA 14 is probably going to outdo that then, being shipped with every European.
Well, no, it's not. Microsoft messed up. It's actually only for day one Xbox Ones. If you have
Is it
a day
really?
one Xbox One, you will get a copy of FIFA 14. If you do not, then you will not get one. So they kind of lied and kind of just didn't explain it. And again, Microsoft
Had to
have
change it
screwed
again.
up and it's backfired.
Yeah.
And now they just, it just gets worse for them. They can't do anything.
Microsoft screwing up? No.
Yeah, don't be silly. Well, that was Sony.
Sorry, again, I've got a bit quiet because, since the whole, the Wii U's been caught, I thought, no, I'll have a look on Amazon and see how expensive they are. I might actually buy one now.
I still wouldn't buy one. I nearly bought a PS Vita for £100 used, and now they're £150 used because the PS4 is going to be going to utilise them. I'm really annoyed. I should have bought
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of games that are on the Vita that I want to play, not because I want a portable experience, just because they're stuck on the Vita and on nothing else.
Yeah, I mean they're putting a load of indie games across to it. Also, the PlayStation Plus the new PlayStation Plus subscription is gonna, if you pay for it was £5 a month or something, or I can't remember how much it is, £60 a year. It goes across all three consoles. So you got the PS Vita, the PS3, and the PS4. So you get free games for every single one. So for that amount, like £60 a year, that's such a good deal.
I gotta admit, that's what I like about my PlayStation Plus account at the minute. That I got Lego Lord of the Rings when it first came out, but with the PlayStation Plus, I can download it for the Vita as well, so you can keep the kids happy as well. I can play it, they can play it. I think it's pretty cool.
It's a really clever system.
Yeah, it is really good. So what you were saying, with it being available on all three, it would be definitely something that I would buy, having a PlayStation 4, knowing that I can just, if I really want to give him the PlayStation 3, you can go upstairs and just download some games without hassling.
I mean, it's what the Wii U tried to do with the gamepad, where they could say, oh, you don't need the actual Wii on to use the gamepad to play the games. If your parents want to watch TV, then simply go ahead and just port the game over to the Wii U pad and play games like wirelessly around the house. And it does work, but there's just not enough usability with it. You can't take it out with you anywhere because the gamepad's too big and it doesn't actually work outside of a certain perimeter.
Yeah.
But the new consoles as well, they're also bringing this thing called, what's it called? You can use your tablet or your smartphone to
Play it. You could
control and have different aspects of games, which is very.
You could do that with your PSP. Back in the day when the PS3 came out, you could use your PSP as a controller, and you could remote desktop it. It wasn't used all that much, but the ability was there.
Yeah.
To be honest,
I mean the thing.
the PS3 had a lot of technical aspects in it that were really underused. I think they had a really great development team behind them. 7 controls, things like that. It had a really great toolkit, and some of it just didn't get utilised as strongly as it could have been.
I also like the idea that now with the Xbox One and the PS4, I've only heard this for the PS4, but I can only presume the Xbox One's doing it as well, is that if you get the app on your phone and then you buy a game on the app, say a game comes out and you buy it on the day, but you're not at home, your console automatically turns on, downloads the game, and then turns off again. So when you get home, it's down.
I would love that.
That is
That's good.
that's such a good idea. If you think about it, you're at work or something and a game comes out, or you're at work and you see like there's a good deal, or you just want to buy a game, you can buy it on your phone. It downloads on your console, and when you get home, it's like it's always been there. And you don't have to go to the shop to buy a disc or anything. It's just there.
That's definitely a bonus for trying to convert every console user in from disc to digital downloads. You won't even have to leave. Well, people can say that you won't even have to leave your house and whatnot, but if you don't even have to go to the shop and you can do it while you're at work, like you were saying, I don't see a problem with that. That is console users down to a T, really.
And now,
what are you saying?
If they take this further,
I'm a console user. I'm saying it as well. I'm talking from me.
If they take this further and do what Payday 2 did, is that it came out day one. Like PS3 have been very good at having day one releases, and like the games come out more or less on the first day, and you can download them then. So for a lot of people, it's easier for them to just pay the money and download it on the PS3 instead of going to the shop, which is brilliant. But then also Payday, what they did is that the game is $40, so it's got to be like 35 quid over here for the disc copy, or no, sorry, it's $40 for the disc copy, $35 for the virtual copy, and the virtual copy came out day one as well. So you could download the virtual copy, but not only that, it was cheaper, I guess, because they're negating the cost of having a disc and having to ship it to stores and stuff like that. Which I think is, in the long run, if they did that with like Call of Duty, and the disc probably going to go up more, so it might be 50, 55 quid, or the digital download was 40, 45 pound, a lot of people would start digitally downloading stuff on day one, and I don't know, I think it would help Microsoft and the people out more, because they're not having to sell it to a games company and then them taking a cut, which obviously lowers the actual developer's profits.
I mean, digital distribution is certainly nothing new. We've seen it for years on Steam, and of course it's
yeah, exactly. If people take the Steam model, then.
But people have tried the Steam model before. I mean, look at how many competitors are out there. There's EA's Black Sheep of the Family, Origin, which has not been tremendously well received. There's Stardock, which was recently brought up by GameStop.
What's
Stardock used to keep things like Sins of Solar Empire, there's things like that, some smaller games. But it was recently bought out by, recently, a couple of months ago, bought out by GameStop. So they tend to sell smaller digital distribution games. But nothing, like, that question there, nothing proves quite as strong in staying power as Steam.
Yeah, I mean, Steam got a lot of slack when it first came out. A lot of people didn't like the idea, didn't like the concept, and hated on it for ages. And it's only, it must have been out for maybe 10 years now, and like only recently has it really become like favourable by all the gamers, and now everybody says Steam is the best and they'd rather that over anything else. But when it first came out, everybody was the same way, as they would be like about having it and how it sucks and how people don't really want it. So,
you are
I don't know,
almost right.
You go into it.
Steam was first released on September the 12th, 2003, so not quite its birthday yet.
Nearly.
I guess 8 days, expect an event of some sort.
Their 10th birthday, I'm expecting at least Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, Portal 3. Yeah, that do.
Only a little bit. You're
all at once.
And they have to be 90% off in the Steam birthday sale as well.
Have they announced anything yet?
True
for a
Steam
birthday
style.
sale?
No.
No, they haven't released anything.
But I mean, like, this year, for releases and whatnot, I mean, the sale this year wasn't tremendous. There wasn't a lot that was worth discounting.
Well, I have 120 games, so somewhere I bought quite a few games.
Oh, I've got a canny few, yeah, but I just haven't plenty of them.
Yeah, I think I have like 6 games installed, mainly. Got with GTA, because you gotta love a bit of GTA. I hate it when you download a game off Steam though, and it opens like Ubisoft's Uplay or Origin. Like I got Trials Evolution on Steam, and then installed it, and then press play, and it opens Uplay, and then you have to go into Uplay to then press play again to get the game to start playing. The same with Far Cry.
That's weird.
And the same with the Origin games.
I've never had that problem.
No, I've seen it
time
before.
It's weird and annoying.
That is a bit weird.
Yeah, sometimes games for Windows pops up as well. I mean, not.
Yeah, that's the
not
thing.
anymore.
Games for Windows has recently been
It has. They've shut up shop on that.
but I don't know how that's going to work, because Like you still have to use.
Yeah,
it,
I
so-
wonder, have they pulled support on it, or are they just saying that there's no future games for it?
I just guess they're not going to make any more games that incorporate it. Because Microsoft don't have that many games anymore, do they, that they develop themselves?
Yeah, I guess not.
I mean, is there going to be a new Forza?
I
guess there is.
never played Forza in my life.
I'm rubbish at driving games.
I'm trying to think if there is a new one.
We got Forza, and then you got Drive Club, which you get for free on a PS4, no matter what, even if it's not the day one. So again, thumbs up to PS4 rather than Xbox One.
I mean, that raises a good question. What happens to games when the system that holds them goes bust? Like 2-3 years ago, Darkspawn came out, and it recently came across an error which rendered it inoperable. When people asked on the forum whether the game was going to come back, the official response was that as the game was defunct, they weren't going to repair it and just leave it as a dead title. Which means if you pay £20-30 for an always-on game and the system fails, well, that's your money gone.
Something like
Yeah,
that, I think,
mean-
is bad. You need to have a refund policy or something
Well,
involved
yeah.
in that. But
Because
when
it-
you've got like City of Heroes, like a MMORPG, like they can just announce like it's being shut down. Like we've had our run. That's that.
Well, I think with
Like-
MMOs it's a different thing because you're constantly paying. The upfront's different, but I think to pay for a game where it's a one-off payment, I think you expect to own it. That's one of the worries of
EA
moving away from disc, I guess.
EA now actually offer refunds on digital downloads, but you can't have played the game. You can buy a game of Origins, say Battlefield 4, have it there. I think it's a day they allow this, and then so the next day you decide that was probably a bad investment. I don't actually want to play this game, and it cost me £40. You can get a refund.
Actually,
But you can't have.
I heard a bit different on that. I heard that you could actually open it and play it once, but it's as soon as you close it down, start it up again, it's yours. But you can actually play it once and then return it. I don't know if they've changed that. They might have changed that since
mean-
last time I heard.
No,
But
that sounds more.
There must be a limit to that.
That would be a really good.
Yeah,
idea.
there must be a limit. Like, what if I buy a game, go on a colossal marathon, just never close it, start to finish? Like, actually, didn't quite like that. Haven't slept in 3 days. Don't
Well,
want it.
I think the idea would still stand that it would be like the next day, like you'd only have a day to do this.
You'd assume that when you
So-
buy it, the first time that you opened it up, it would do a 24-hour countdown. I'm pretty sure, and you know what, quote me guys if I'm wrong, that you get a game trial of 24 hours on the PlayStation Plus. So you download a game, you play it, and then after 24 hours it shuts it down. You've got to go and buy it. So I would have thought that they would have done that too.
I never used PlayStation Plus, so I
It
wouldn't.
wouldn't
know.
make sense. Did you guys ever play PlanetSide 2?
No,
I played the
probably.
beta, but
PlanetSide 2 moved away from like paying for the game. It was a free-to-play game where like, you leveled up in like Battlefield and got your guns.
Oh, I've
But
heard of
you
that,
could-
yeah. I might. have
Yeah,
played it
you
before,
could buy your guns from their store with their own currency. But they had a try before you buy thing with the guns, so you could literally just grab a gun for an hour, have a go with it, and if you liked it, then you could buy it, which is really cool.
that is a
That's a
different,
really clever
different
idea.
way. Especially when microtransactions are becoming so popular at the moment. That's actually quite a nice way to do it.
Yeah.
Can't remember if it was Xbox or PS4, but one of them has said that they'll allow free games with microtransactions inside them on games. I mean, look at World of Tanks. That's probably going to be like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I got.
For the Xbox One.
Yeah,
It's
there's
a free-to-play game.
add
and they're
credits,
just
is
gonna-
it? And then
Yeah, microtransactions inside the game.
I tell you what, I am happy to see the end of Microsoft points.
Oh,
Like-
yeah, definitely.
I was sick of how
They were such a
yeah,
pain.
like having to buy really odd amounts of points, and you're stuck with like leftover hundreds or 200s or whatever.
Oh, every time I always used to buy 1600, was it, for
1600.
like a Call of Duty map pack, and then it would be 1200. I'd be left with
Yeah,
400,
I mean,
and then I'd never ever have anything to pay for the 400. They end up buying like bloody indie games that were crap for like 80 points.
1600. Why is
Even
that a
then you'd be
number?
lost with some.
What is that?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, like,
They should have just gone hundreds, thousands, and tens. Just gone really
I mean,
simple.
it's obvious why they've done it. You know, to obviously make you want to have it leftover amount, so you have to buy more or less or whatever. But it's nice to
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
see that we're actually getting a bit of clarity on this, I guess. Because I don't want to have to deal with an exchange rate when I'm trying to go on my Xbox every day.
Does anybody know if Nintendo still have their point system, or are they on cash?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Because I know they had Nintendo points for the Wii, but I don't know if that carried over to the Wii.
Yeah,
U
the
and
Wii U
DS
was
is-
still using the Nintendo points, but
You can still buy Nintendo from the eShop. You can buy a card. I don't think it is points. I think it's I can't even get words out now. It's cash that you buy because Game Do It that you buy a Nintendo eShop card and they're £25 and £15.
Yeah, they do that with the PlayStation Network as well. And I guess the Xbox will just convert over to that as well instead of having the points cards.
What's your views
I
on
mean, look at-
achievements for Xbox and the trophies on PS4? Are you one of these that, or is anyone sort of a collector of those?
See, I'm not
I'm
an
a trophy whore.
I'm not an achievement hunter. But is it just me? I mean, maybe because I've ordered an Xbox. Do Xbox achievement points seem so much more valid than PlayStation trophies?
They
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, just because Xbox
They
ones...
just look better.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're more definitive. You can see how many you have collectively. You don't have to look per game. They it's just more clarity, I think, between what exactly you get, and there's so much more like definition between each one because a points game can start at 1 point and go up to 100 gamer score, I guess, or more. Whereas a trophy is either like bronze, silver, gold, platinum.
I mean, it's just... I mean, I won't lie, it is a little bit gratifying to get a trophy and see the thing flash across your screen, and you feel good for doing it. I guess there's some deep psychological level it works.
It's the people that have got
Is
like
game score
80,000.
transferring over to Xbox One?
Oh, good question. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure because I know they do. The one thing I thought was really odd that it was like a selling point for the day one release that you actually get an achievement for buying the day one edition Xbox One.
Yeah, they had that with the Xbox 360 as well.
I just find it weird.
Well, I mean, World
How
of
is that
Warcraft
sort
have
of
been
selling
doing that
point?
for quite a while, haven't they? Like Realm First, been on for WoW's 4th, 5th birthday, so on. So, I mean, it makes
I
sense.
think that's a clever idea because it increases brand loyalty. Like, if you want to get this achievement, then you have to be. It also shows that you were like day one buyer of the console. Shows that you were, I guess, dedicated to the cause and.
I'm one of
like,
those people that it
fully
really appeals
embedded
to
in
me.
it.
I've really got a problem with it. It's like when the latest Star Wars MMO came out, the Old Republic. I just had to buy it so I could get the founder badge. It's like, what was it? Gears of War 3. That if you were in the beta, you got a beta badge. I was really upset because I didn't know about the beta and I didn't realise it was a beta badge. But I am just the same, and I've got to admit, going back to you previously, I really do enjoy the Xbox achievements, especially with my kids, because the amount of points I've got, they think I'm amazing, even though I've only played a few games. I don't really have a lot of achievements, but when you say look at the PlayStation, it doesn't look like you've got a lot, and then you've got to click here, there, and everywhere to see what you actually have and look at each individual game. So, yeah, I do think the Xbox One's a lot better.
That's the thing. Are PS4 keeping trophies again, or are they changing their system? Any idea?
I can only presume they're keeping trophies. They haven't said anything different. I mean, PS4 have been very good at keeping, like, not saying too much that, like, leads people to ask questions, but saying enough that appeases everybody and makes them happy. That's the thing with Xbox. They've either said too much or said too little, and then there's been lots of questions, they've ended up changing things and stuff like that. Whereas with the PS4, they've almost said just enough. They've said just enough that, like, appeases the audience and appeases all of the people, like, reviewing it and talking about it, but doesn't, like, lead on to questions about different things, so they haven't got into very much trouble with, saying things that aren't necessarily 100% factually accurate or, like, actually make sense to the general public.
Well, let's hope Microsoft learn a thing or two when we see the Xbox One, 2, Xbox, whatever the heck it's going to be called in 4 years' time. Let's hope that Microsoft have learned a big lesson from this and don't tell people if they want to share games they need to go and buy an Xbox 360 as such. So we'll see.
Well, you say in 3 or 4 years when they bring out a new one, and they're saying that the Xbox 360 still has 3 years left. These games consoles are meant to have a 10-year lifespan, so the next consoles after these, you think about it, it's going to be probably 7, 8, maybe 9, even 10 years time is the next time we have consoles again.
I'll be drawing
You
up
think
my
about
pension.
how old. You think about how old the Xbox 360 and the PS3 is. How outdated they are now compared to everything we have now. It's just phenomenal when you think about how really, really, like, low specs things they have and how developers over the years have squeezed as much as humanly possible out of them to create amazing games like BioShock Infinite or Heavy Rain or any of these games that aesthetically are amazing but still run on an older console.
I mean, they always said that the at least the potential of these consoles was still going to be long reaching, and I think we're saying that they still haven't fully reached the limits of what these consoles can do yet.
It's unlikely. I mean, nobody's ever going to be 100% efficiency, get 100% efficiency on a console when they create a game and stuff like that. They'll always be developing new ways to harvest the cache and stuff like that. I mean, the reason the PS3 couldn't have party chat or develop their XMB anymore is because the RAM on the Xbox 360 was a single piece of RAM. I think it was 512 megabytes, and what that allowed them to do is split it up any which way they chose, maybe having 300 megabytes for certain things, for say a game, and the other 212 for anything else. Whereas the PS3, they had two 256 megabyte sticks, and this didn't allow them to use all of them at once because they're on two different sticks, so they could never have the same like level of entertainment multimedia as the Xbox did, and be able to upgrade the dashboard or the XMB, or even have party chat. And I think that was one of the downfalls of the PS3, even though I'd argue that there was more aesthetically pleasing games on the PS3 with Uncharted series, definitely Heavy Rain, games like that. That I don't know, I think they squeezed more out of the PS3 in the end.
Well, I think that the PS3 certainly had some really great quality games. I mean, like the ones you listed there are really good, but volume of good games, I think the Xbox pulled ahead. The Xbox had a better quantity of them.
I think this last time round, even though new consoles haven't come out yet, but last time round with the Xbox 360 and the PS3, the Xbox 360 was very much the games console, and the PS3 was very much the entertainment system. And this time round, they've really mixed it up, and Xbox are really going hard for being an entertainment system, and PS4 are trying really hard to just be a games console, and that's trying to be one of their main selling points.
Yeah. But I think it entirely depends what you want from the console.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why some people bought PS3s and some people bought Xbox 360s. Some people would rather pay the £40 to make sure that they had a good online experience. The marketplace and the dashboard was always being updated, and people would sometimes rather just pay a little bit extra up front with the PS3 and be able to watch Blu-rays and not have to worry about paying for online because they don't necessarily use it all the time. But when they do, it's there.
How many of you have got both of the consoles?
I have had both of the consoles. I don't own them at the same time.
Yeah, same with me.
Never owned them at the same time.
I've got both of them, and I tend to play on the PlayStation more than I play on the Xbox at the minute.
And why is that?
I don't know, it's just something about... I've always just been a PlayStation man. I've just like my PlayStation. I've got nothing against the Xbox, absolutely nothing at all, but I think it's with the PlayStation, because I've always had one since PlayStation 1. I know where everything is, I know where to find it, but I've got to admit, when I turn on my Xbox, I'm not always sure where everything is, and sometimes I find it a little bit difficult to try and navigate myself around the system. And I think it's just because I didn't go for Xbox first and have that. I'm sure if it was the other way around, that would be exactly the same with PlayStation, not knowing what I'm doing. I think it's probably also for the fact that my kid plays on it, so if I do find I'm getting lost somewhere, it's just like, mate, just make this work. And I call myself a gamer. Yes, I know my 11-year-old is a lot better at the console than I am. But yeah, I think it's just because I haven't got a clue where half the stuff is on the Xbox, but I hope to correct that by getting an Xbox One. I'm really going to learn where everything is and enjoy it. But I think I'm probably going to get both of the consoles. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the PlayStation 4 first. I've got the pre-orders down now for both of them, so I can make up my mind. But I think I'll end up getting the PlayStation 4 first and pick up an Xbox One later.
I think it's the same for me, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see if... Well, the price cuts obviously won't be for a while, but I can't justify buying both and possibly upgrading my PC at the same time. It's going to be an expensive couple of months.
Yeah,
otherwise.
see, that's the thing. I think I'd rather spend the money updating my PC and play this huge library of games I already have, rather than spending money on a new system, which I would then have to invest more money into more games. With I understand some of the newer games aren't going to necessarily be coming out on the PC. Or coming out later, such as Grand Theft Auto, but even that hasn't been announced, I don't think, on the next gen consoles yet. It's still on the Xbox 360 and PS3 with no announcement for the PC yet.
There was that rumour from a guy at NVIDIA, I don't know if you heard that, he announced that they were.
No.
Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it was an interview, or it was just a sort of comment. I can't remember. But he was saying about how they were trying to improve the graphics for next gen games coming over to PCs, and he mentioned a few games. I can't remember the other two, but then he also mentioned Grand Theft Auto 5. Now it's sort of like,
yeah, I think they'd be stupid not to release it for the next gen console
Yeah.
with the amount of people that are going to be flocking over to it.
yeah, it's just Rockstar being Rockstar didn't deny it, or like they didn't even comment on it. You know, they just done what they do and was like, well, we're gonna do what we do and just release a game and go where it takes us. But yeah, they have to bring it out on PC.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't even announced it on PC yet, so
No.
I don't actually know what they're doing about that, but I can only presume that they're going to be bringing it out sometime, and it's probably the same with the multiplayer, like they'll bring it out later along the line.
Yeah.
I mean, the multiplayer isn't that much later, it's only 2 weeks, but so I guess it gives you a chance to play the single player, and also gives them a chance to make sure the multiplayer is fully developed to the best they can throw out at the time.
Yeah, it did make me laugh that they were actually sort of saying how surprised. Well, not surprised, but they were saying that the GTA Online will be free. I was kind of amazed, like,
Well, I
why
think they're
shouldn't it
trying
be? Why would
I
it
think
be
they're
paid?
trying to blend it. They're trying to like push it away from the actual GTA storyline and probably make it into its own standalone game.
Yeah,
So they're saying it's free. So I guess they're like clearing up the air about the fact that, you know, they're saying it comes out later, but just assuring people that it actually comes with the game and it doesn't actually cost any more to get it.
yeah, true.
But I think in a few years' time we could be seeing GTA storyline, then GTA Online as a free-to-play add-on extra that you get with the game, but you don't have to have the game to play. Like especially on PC,
Yeah,
that could be a huge market where they, like you said about Planets, or someone said about PlanetSide, it could turn into this massive free game that you pay to play, like you pay to win, like you pay for the different aspects of the game.
yeah, I completely agree.
Well, guys, that was a really quick podcast hour this week. It felt like it absolutely flew by.
Yeah.
It definitely did.
Yeah, definitely.
Plenty of gaming talk this week.
Yeah, I think we're going to
Let's
have to
get on
catch
to-
up with some films next week or something.
Yeah.
Plenty
We've
of
got
films.
Podcast 2 to talk about J.J. Abrams all next week.
That's right. Next week you can mention that I'm actually chatting as well. That'd be helpful.
Hey,
Oh,
hi,
I did
Terry.
mention your name.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Nice to see you.
Alright guys, well that has been the Muse Culture Podcast for this week, episode 2. Tune in next week and hopefully we'll be back again. Maybe with the same crew, maybe with different people, who knows. So until next time guys, see ya.
See you guys.
Ta-da.